Hey guys, it's Kathleen Ems here, and today I'm finally reviewing the game that I've been anticipating since I first saw footage of it, and that is Crystal Dynamics' spin-off slash prequel of the Lara Croft story, Tomb Raider. So I know I tend to get a little too fangirly and excited at times, but I hope you can take me seriously when I say that this was an amazing game. I mean, I've played a lot of games in the last couple months that I had to almost force myself to keep playing so that I could do a review as soon as possible. But when I was playing this, I didn't at any point force myself to finish quicker than I normally would because I was so engaged in the game that I wanted to keep playing. This is one of those games that I didn't want to eat or sleep or have a social life during. Thankfully, I was on spring break, so I didn't miss anything too important, but everything just kind of dissolved around me while I was playing this game. I was so sucked in, and by the incredible story and the atmosphere, this is definitely a must-have game. So in this game, you'll be playing as Lara Croft going on her first ever expedition to find this hidden island of Japan called Yamatai. This game will appeal both to previous hardcore Tomb Raider fans and those of you who have not played a Tomb Raider game ever in your life. Now, the only memories that I have of playing the Tomb Raider games when I was a kid were of running around Croft Manor and locking the butler in the freezer. So I don't really remember that much from the games that I played as a kid, but I think that there's aspects of this game that will appeal to both types of fans. First of all, the story is incredibly compelling for so many reasons. It's very intense and emotional. You definitely get this sense that Lara is very vulnerable because she's never experienced this type of violent atmosphere before and never had to survive in this way before, but you also get the sense the entire time that Lara has the potential to do it and that she's in no way weak, she's just vulnerable. You definitely get this sense while you're playing it that you have to protect her. At least that's what I felt the entire time I was playing, and I think that it's an interesting relationship that you feel with Lara as you're playing. And I expected to project myself on her as I was playing, but instead I felt as though I was comforting her. Instead of having this very intensely strong hero from the beginning of the story, you just get the sense that she isn't really sure of herself. At the beginning, the story is so painfully intense. She just gets beat around. I really loved the relationship that she has with Roth, who is an obvious father figure to her.
You can do this, Lara. Remember when we climbed Snowden? You said the key was knowing that all you've got to do is just keep moving. Remember everything I've taught you, Lara. You're ready for this. And keep your radio on.
And it is a great experience to see her grow up and grow into this powerful and strong character. What I loved about the combat is that every minute of it is really fresh. You aren't just thrown into a room with guns blazing at you every time you're in combat. In fact, those moments are really rare, but those moments are incredibly difficult when you do face them. There's moments where you'll be in tight, spaces trying to get through as guys are running at you with shields and gunning you down, but you also have to find your way through a building as it's burning, latch yourself to objects using your arrows, and there was never a moment where I just felt bored. Like, as you're going along, you have new tools to get across obstacles in different ways, and that made it incredibly fresh and lively to play. Once you get about 60 minutes through or 30 minutes through the game, that's when you really feel as though the world has opened up a little bit and you can do what you want to. But before that, the cutscenes are a little too overdone. Now, one bad thing that I would say about the game is that the combat was a little too easy, especially for those of us who are experienced with solving puzzles, which was my most favorite aspect of the game, and this is the part of the game that you will love if you're a Tomb Raider fan, is that there are tombs that you can raid and find objects, find treasure at the end once you solve these puzzles, and it's extremely rewarding. It makes you feel very smart once you finally figure out how to get to the treasure at the end. And it's great to see Laura kind of nerd out as she gets to the treasure and share her knowledge of the artifacts and whatnot.
Gilded figures, servants of the Sun Queen.
This, with survival instincts, it gives you hints on where to find things, and I think these hints are a little too obvious and a little too often. It would be so much more challenging if they just got rid of the survival instincts for a certain difficulty setting. I feel like even on the hardest difficulty setting, the gameplay itself was pretty easy as well. What I did like about the gameplay is there's more stress on Laura using a bow and arrow than just using her double pistols or using guns, and this requires a lot of tactics and it requires you to approach combat in unique ways. I liked the stealthy aspect of it. That was probably my favorite aspect of the game, and I'm not usually good at stealth, but I still wish that it was a little more challenging. If they do make more games in the future, I would recommend that they offer a mode for more hardcore players that are a little more used to gameplay like this. And if I was going to compare this to any current generation games, if you haven't played any of the previous Lara Croft games, I would really recommend this game for Uncharted fans. It's definitely not a guns blazing type of game like Uncharted is, but the gameplay is very similar. So yeah, but I won't get into the Uncharted Lara Croft debate, but it is very similar, and so if you love Uncharted, you'll definitely love Lara Croft. It also has a almost open world feel. Now, this is because of the campfires, which are kind of your base where you level up. You can get new abilities in combat and whatnot, and you can level up your weapons. It won't take you long to level up completely once you've run around the world for a little bit, but it is fun to go back. The great thing about this feature is it allows you to, level up, buy new equipment, and it also allows you to fast travel back to locations that you've already been so that you can complete any challenges that you missed, raid any tombs that you missed, and I totally recommend that you try to find all the tombs because they're a lot of fun. And it almost gives you a slightly open world feel, even though there is a bit of a limit to it. So I also want to talk about the graphics, which were incredibly gorgeous. They definitely put a lot of effort into the way that the game looks. You had a lot of diversity with the settings that you explored. I mean, you explore these really creepy caves that you'd have to, crawl in while there's human body parts and flesh all over the place. And then you'd find these gorgeous mountains covered in snow, and as you're climbing these walls, you get to admire the scenery. You can tell that they just put so much detail into it, and I really think this game is worth buying simply because I think we should appreciate all the effort that they obviously put into every detail of this game. And that is my overall opinion, is just that this game was incredibly impressive, from the story to the gameplay to the graphics, and I felt satisfied the whole time I was playing, and I can't wait to play again because I feel like after I finish that there's just like this, that emptiness you get once you finish a great game and you're like, oh man, it's over. That's how I feel. So I really hope that Crystal Dynamics continues with this spin-off of Lara Croft and this new image that they have of Lara Croft, and I think it was a fantastic must-have game, and I really recommend that everyone get this game. It's definitely a must-have. It's a game that you must have on your shelf. And I should go.